The Cupcake Thief by Ellen Jackson, illustrated by Blanche Sims. And the introduction says, oops, Zach's cupcake went missing and someone ate the evidence. Is Tyler innocent or guilty? Only the student court can decide. Who took my cupcake? Zach's eyes darted around the room, looking for someone to blame. Did you leave it at home? Asked Miss Baker. Nope, said said Zach. I put it in my desk right before we acted out Jack and the Beanstalk. And it didn't just walk off. Well, I don't have it, said Brian. Me neither, said Marcy. You've heard of a nose for news, said Aaron. Well, I've got a sniffer for sweets. Hold out your hands, everyone. Aaron sniffed her way up and down the rows. Then she pointed to Tyler. Aha, said Aaron. I smell chocolate. What? Tyler said. Aaron, you're my friend. You know I don't even like chocolate. Brian reached into Tyler's desk and pulled out a cupcake with chocolate sprinkles. Uh-oh, said Tyler. He looked as jumpy as a flea on a hot plate. All through history, people have had to decide who is telling the truth. It's not easy. That's one reason why we have courts. And in courts, there's always a judge and a jury. You, cupcake napper, shrieked Zach. That's enough, said Miss Baker. There's only one fair way to handle this matter. Student court. Zach and Tyler report to room 6 at noon. You're busted, Zach told Tyler. You'll have to pick up trash on the playground. That's usually what the punishment is. But I'm innocent, said Tyler. Yeah, sure, said Zach. Tell it to the judge. Just before noon, Tyler trudged toward room 6. He looked lower than an earthworm's belly button. Do you mind if I tag along? Asked Aaron. Maybe I can help. Tyler shrugged. Anything to keep me from getting trash duty. Phew. And here is a nonfiction note. Courts were set up long ago to deal with crimes and to settle arguments in a fair way. In some schools, a student who breaks a rule must go to student court. Tyler and Aaron walked into room 6. Zach was already there, talking to a 6th grader named Leo. Hi, Tyler, said a girl with a friendly smile. I'm Jen, your lawyer. I'll be arguing your case before the judge. What's your side of the story? I don't know, said Tyler, but I didn't take Zach's cupcake. Jen looked deep into Tyler's eyes. I believe you, she said. I'm a friend of Tyler's, said Aaron. I believe him too, and I'd like to help. Then you can be a witness, said Jen. But right now, I need to ask Tyler some questions. Did you know a lawyer helps people with the law? In America, everyone who is accused of a crime can have a lawyer, even if they don't pay for one. Did you know? Witnesses tell what they have seen or know about what happened. Sometimes a witness just talks about what the person on trial is like. Each side can call witnesses. A few minutes later, some kids sat down by a sign that said jury. The judge banged his gavel. The court will come to order, he said. Tyler, you are accused of taking Zach's cupcake. Zach and his lawyer Leo will tell Zach's side of the story. Then you will have your turn. The jury will decide if you're guilty. Student court, where the truth rules. Today's cases. Did Sam Gal put paint in Linda Gee's hair? Did Tyler Gray steal Zach Dale's cupcake? Did Jake Ryan put yogurt in room 4's pencil sharpener? Tyler looked sadder than a bowl of wilted spinach. Zach's lawyer will now call the first witness, said the judge. Jurors, don't make up your minds until you hear all of the facts. Remember, be totally sure before you say someone is guilty. Did you know the judge makes sure that a trial is fair and that the law is followed? Did you know a jury decides whether someone has done what he or she is accused of doing? A person who is A person who is on a jury is called a juror. Every juror must promise to be fair. I call Zach, said Leo. Raise your right hand, the judge told Zach. Do you promise to tell the whole truth? Yep, Zach said. He parked himself in the witness seat and faced the jury. When did you first notice that your cupcake was missing? Asked Leo. Just before noon, said Zach. I reached into my desk and it was gone. Zach told the jury how Aaron had helped find the cupcake. Then he pointed right at Tyler. He took my cupcake and hid it in his desk. Look at those shifty eyes. Doesn't he look like a criminal? The jury nodded as if they agreed. I object, said Jen. That's not fair. The judge frowned. Stick to the facts, Zach. Did you know? Jurors don't have any special training. They're just regular people, like your parents or your neighbors. Being on a jury is a big responsibility. And as a citizen of the United States, you might get called for jury duty as an adult. Then it was Jen's turn to question Zach. Did you see Tyler take the cupcake? She asked. Well, no, said Zach. And you got it back, didn't you? She asked. Zach made a face. Yes, but it had finger marks on it. Who wants a used cupcake? It probably had cooties. May I see this cupcake? Jen asked Zach. I, I ate it, he said. The jury gasped. You ate the evidence? Asked the judge. I thought you didn't want a used cupcake. Zach shrugged. I was hungry. Sheesh, muttered a juror. He ate the evidence, so they could not even look at the cupcake. Truth or trouble, the lawyers on both sides have a chance to ask the witnesses about what happened. Each witness must promise to tell the truth. Witnesses who lie can end up in jail. Do you have any more questions for Zach? Asked the judge. Jen shook her head. Our side rests, said Leo. That means it's Jen's turn to give evidence. I know that, said Jen. I call Aaron. Aaron promised to tell the truth and sat down. This is called the witness stand. I've known Tyler since kindergarten, she said. He's never stolen anything, and I don't believe he took the cupcake. Tyler doesn't even like sweets. Last Halloween, he gave away all his candy. Jen smiled. Your turn, she said to Leo. No questions, Leo grumbled. It's clear that Aaron thinks Tyler is a great guy. Yuck, candy. So maybe Tyler wouldn't want a cupcake either if he doesn't even like sweets. Did you know? Evidence is information that lawyers want the jury to see or hear. Evidence helps prove what really happened. For example, Goldilocks broke Baby Bear's chair. I know you remember that story. That chair is evidence. I call Tyler, said Jen. Tyler said he'd tell the truth and took a seat on the witness stand. His face was as long as a snake's suspenders. Tyler, said Jen, did you bring your lunch to school today? Yes, said Tyler. I brought a tuna sandwich, but I ate it at morning recess. I was hungry. Zach stood up. Sounds fishy to me. He laughed at his own joke. Ha, ha, ha. Order in the court, said the judge. Tyler, would you mind letting the jury smell your breath? Asked Jen. Ugh, said one of the jurors. Tyler walked to the roped-off area and opened his mouth. That's tuna fish, all right, said another juror. You smell just like my cat. Do you have any questions for Tyler? Jen asked Leo. Just one, Leo said. Why tuna? You look like a peanut butter and jelly kid. You look like a peanut butter and jelly kid to me. Jen rolled her eyes. I call Zach. Zach plopped down and waved to the jury. How big was your cupcake, Zach? Asked Jen. Ginormous, said Zach with a smile. And how big is Tyler? Asked Jen. About the size of pond scum, Zach smirked. He's the smallest kid in the class. I see, said Jen. Not the kind of kid to want a ginormous cupcake after eating a tuna sandwich. Zach shrugged. Or, excuse me, after eating a tuna sandwich? Zach shrugged. I have another question, Jen continued. What was the class doing right before you noticed your cupcake was missing? A math lesson, said Zach, I think. And before that? Asked Jen. Zach looked as confused as a baby learning algebra. So it must be that Jen is trying to say what a little guy like Zach, like um, Tyler, actually have room for a large cupcake after just eating a whole tuna sandwich? Besides, his breath smells like tuna. Wouldn't it smell at least a little bit like chocolate if he ate that cupcake? Let's see if there's more evidence. Oh my gosh! Erin jumped up and waved her arms. Tyler didn't do it, she yelled. He's innocent. Everyone began talking at once. Order! Order in the court, said the judge. But I just remembered, said Erin. Right after recess, the class acted out Jack and the Beanstalk. Zach played the giant, and Tyler was the goose that lays golden eggs. We pushed all the desks to the side of the room and Erin's right, shouted Tyler. He turned to the judge. Can the jury visit the scene of the crime? Everybody followed Tyler to room 3. We were laughing so hard after the play, Tyler said. I think we each grabbed the wrong desk. I took Zach's, then he took mine. It was one big mistake. Tyler reached inside the desk he'd been sitting at. He pulled out a comic book, a banana peel, and a dirty sock. Look, Zach, he said. Isn't that your sock? It's too big for me. And here's my stink bug, said Zach. I wondered where it went. You look at that messy desk. But it's not Tyler's. It's Zach's. Did you know? Student court is just one kind of court. The most important court in America is called the Supreme Court. Its 9 judges decide whether U.S. laws are fair or unfair. Unfair laws can get changed. But Tyler, why did I smell chocolate on your fingers? Asked Erin. When I reached in the desk for my math book, I must have touched some sprinkles, he said. Yep, there's one under your nail, said Erin. The jury whispered together in the corner. Then one juror said in a loud voice, We find Tyler not guilty. Case dismissed, said the judge. Courts do their best to be fair. Do you think Tyler had a fair trial? Why or why not? I'm thinking yes, because Tyler was able to tell his story, Zach was able to tell his story, and the juror was able to listen fairly to both sides. Well, that's that, Zach said to Tyler. Too bad about the little mix-up. Zach, said Miss Baker, did you bring another stink bug to school? That's the 3rd time this month. She crossed her arms. Uh-oh, said Zach. I think I'm busted. I will not bring stink bugs to school. I will not bring stink bugs to school. I guess he didn't want to eat the evidence this time. I wonder what stink bug breath smells like. Oops. Uh-oh, said Zach. I think I'm busted. I almost forgot this text at the top. And he was. The end.